In this video, I will be going over how I built this miter station. So this is a project I've been wanting to do for a long time. I originally had my miter saw on a mobile cart, which I really needed in my garage space here, but I was able to make space over here for that. So I really been looking forward to getting this miter station built. I did get plans off of DIY Montreal DIY. I'll put a link down below to that video I used. I did buy his plans, so I won't be linking them here. You'll have to go purchase your own. I modified mine a little bit in the sense of he had basically 8 foot by 5 foot, where mine is 60 inches by 3 foot. So almost quite 5.5 feet on this side and 3 feet on that side. And that's primarily because of my space I'm in here will not allow me to go much further than that. So I probably could have tried to make space, but I would have had to gotten rid of a lot more stuff. I'd already had to get rid of some other things, as you'll see in the video. But I'm really happy with it. So with that, let's get into the video. So it was time to get everything cut down. So one of the things I ran into in this was I was using a lot of my cutoffs from previous projects as my main source of lumber here. A lot of it had warped and bent over time, so I had to end up picking and choosing what I needed, and I ultimately had to go purchase additional 2x4s to be able to make up this entire frame, you know, ones without as much cupping or warping or bending. All right, so quick review. So I am using PatriotDIY's plans that I bought from his website for the basic miter saw station. I did modify this a little bit based on my situation. I don't quite have enough room. His is an 8 foot side to a 5 foot side. Mine is going to be a 5 foot long side and a 3 foot short side. So that's going to be the difference here. The other thing is I added additional supports for the middle brackets. So these legs, I added 2 more, one on each side here, just to give extra support. And I'm not going to laminate 2 plywoods together on the top like he did. If I was going to have a long stretch and not have a middle support, I would do that for sure. Okay, so the first thing in assembling this would be to get our legs laminated together. So it's a very similar leg assembly as I did on this actual workbench. If you saw that video, I'll put a link down below if you did not. And basically what we do is we will offset the legs by 3.5 inches here. And then we will actually glue and screw them together. And you'll see as the build goes on, you'll see what I mean by all that and how things will come together. But yeah, it's a very similar assembly as it was for this particular workbench that I'm on right now. So just putting the legs together here, just laminating them with gluing and screwing them together, making sure they're all straight and lined up correctly. And you'll see here in a moment how these come together on the frame. Again, it's very similar to the workbench that I'm on right now. If you haven't seen that build, I'll put a link down below to the workbench build. So putting together the top frame on the long side, this is the 5 foot side, and I will also be doing the bottom. So I'll do both of those frames at the same time, just using my K4 pocket hole jig to do pocket holes on all of the bracing. So everything is pocket hole on this one. You don't have to do pocket holes. You could just do screws from the outside, but this way it has a little bit cleaner look with the pocket holes not showing once it's all complete. But it all came together pretty well and pretty quick. And then now just doing the short side, so it's the exact same process. Pocket hole on the stretchers across, and then putting everything together, measuring it all up, and basically screwing it all together. Again, pocket holes so that the screws are not showing on the outside again are optional, but that was just my choice. And it all came together really good. And now just getting the legs assembled on the long side. So now you can see how the legs are going in, why they're offset a little bit on the back. So everything is screwed together, 4 screws on each end. And I was just checking for level and straightness the whole way to make sure everything was going to be in good shape. So, and again, it wasn't a difficult build at all. So this is basically upside down. So the bottom is on the top. So I'm just attaching that part of the frame as well. And the top is facing bottom on the actual workbench. So again, this went in pretty good with the same concept as before. Next, I'm using my Craig pocket hole jig 320 to do the pocket holes. It's going to screw on to the top and the bottom part. So I'm just getting the pocket holes drilled out here. And just flipped it over and doing it for the bottom shelf as well. So this is the long side of the miter station. I will do the exact same process with pocket holes on the short side. So everything is connected. The both shelves, top and bottom, are connected through pocket holes. And creating the platform now for the actual miter saw. Again, same construction, 2x4s, pocket holes, screwing them together. This one was a little bit of a bear for me to get it level, because every time I went to screw things together it was a little bit off, and that was because the actual 2x4s were warped. So basically I'd learned you just flip one over and you keep flipping them until you get them nice and level, and then it worked out great. But it was a little bit of a challenge for me to get this thing completely level, but ultimately I did, and it worked out great. Now I'm going to dry fit the platform in place with just clamps and just get it where it's going to live and make sure everything is spaced out and lined up correctly. Okay, I got the carcass pretty much built. This is about the size. I'm running into a problem. What I didn't show you before was there used to be a shelf unit here. You might have seen it in the back of some of my videos, where we had storage shelves and bins and things, and I took it down. But I left this side up. Let me just kind of show you what I'm running into. So I left this side up, just got a few things up there, not too much, but there's a pole right here. And that pole, let me walk over here and show you, is going to be right in the way of my outfeed for my miter station. So with that being said, I'm going to have to probably remove that post, which means I'm going to have to remove everything on top of there and find a home for it. So that'll be what I do next before I continue on with this build. The other thing I'm finding, I had originally, let me put you down so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I had originally set this to be the long outfeed, but the way I've been working on my mobile miter station is the longer feed needs to be there. So I might be switching those so that the longer feed is to the right. But every miter station I see has it to the left. So I guess I'm contemplating. I'll have to go do some more researching to see what I want to do. But either way, the overall box is built. Everything is done, all mounted and screwed and glued on a lot of places. So it's looking pretty good at this point. Okay, it's been a few days. So I got rid of my rack I had up here. I moved everything to a different storage area up there. And then the wood I had stacked over there, I bought these wood racks up here. And I now have all my wood stacked on these wood racks. So I'll put a link down below of these wood racks I got off of Amazon. They're working very well for me, so that's pretty good. But now I will get back to the build of my miter station. I'll finally get it finished up. So the next step I'm going to be doing is putting on these leveling feet that I got off of Amazon. Again, I'll put links down below for everything that I got. So basically they just attach to the legs So I'll be installing them on the short outfeed table and the longer outfeed table. Once I get that done, then I will be putting the tops on, and there's a lot of prep work for that, sanding things down, going to be putting an edge band around it, things like that. So that's going to be the next few steps, and then we'll kind of go from there. So just installing a leveling feet here. The one thing you don't see is I only bought 4. I don't know what I was thinking. I needed 8, 4 on each side. So I put these 4 on, I ordered some more, and then I got those and put them on the short side as well. So now both sides have full leveling feet on it. And you'll need this, especially like in my garage. That floor is not level, so you really need to have leveling feet on there to get everything nice and level. Now I'm cutting out the tops and bottom shelves for both sides using my Craig edge guide here, and I just got my plywood set on top of some insulation foam, and I'm just going to go to town and get it all cut out. I'm using painter's tape. I find that I get very less blowout when I use painter's tape on these cuts. So with the top and bottom shelves cut to size, I'm just using my pocket holes. I clamped everything down, got it all lined up, and did the tops, and I also did the bottoms. So everything came out nice and neat. This is the short side that I'm doing. I got it done first, and then I would jump over to the long side. And here we go. The long side, this is the 5-foot side. Got everything clamped down. Doing the bottom one first. This time I found it was a little bit easier doing the bottom first, and then doing the top, and basically again, pocket hole screwing it from the bottom all the way to the top. Nice and secure, and worked great. After attaching the edge banding, I'm now just putting a little bit of a round over on it. So then it was time to sand, and my cordless orbital sander ran out of battery, and I forgot to put the spare on charge, so I had to switch over to my corded one. Luckily I have one, and it worked great. It wasn't that difficult, just had to deal with that cord a little bit. But got it all sanded down and ready for the next step. Okay, so I went ahead and mounted the miter saw. Even though it was a little bit small, I actually didn't want too much of a gap here to here, between here and the shelf. So what I did was, and I saw this, how people did it on a bunch of YouTube videos I was watching, they just scooted the miter saw a little bit forward, and now I have full range, and I still got a little bit of play on both sides. Yep, so I think that's going to work. Not done yet. I still have to put the T-track in. I will put in a measuring tape, so I'll go through that. And then once I have, before the measuring tape, once I get the track cut in the sides, I'll probably put a quick coat of polyurethane on this, maybe 2 coats, just to protect it while it's in use. I did go ahead and put some things down below down here. Some old 2x4 cutoffs I've had. I will be putting a dedicated dust collection on here, so I have that down there. And then over here is just some empty bins that I had just to get them off of the floor. So yeah, it's coming together. Took me a bit to get this all figured out here, but I've got it. It's mounted down really well. So it's good. And then the last thing I'm going to do is put some dust collection on the back of here. I'm going to build basically a box around it, and then I will have a outlet on the bottom that will go into my dust collection. So that's to come as well. So just cutting the T-track out here, my straight edge was not long enough, so I had to do it in 2 passes, move everything down and remeasure everything, and then clamp it all down, and then finish the cut. And then one last bit of sanding to get ready for the polyurethane. I'm going to be putting 2 coats on just to protect it from any kind of wear and tear for the use of it. And I'm just using a foam brush here for applying the polyurethane. So I actually let this dry overnight and did a second coat, and I sanded in between using about a 300 grit just to kind of keep things nice and smooth, and it turned out pretty well. So here it is, finished product. Got 2 coats polyurethane on there. The only thing left to do, which I'm going to wait a little bit on until I can actually do some test runs with it, is to put the measuring tape on the end. So when you get this tape, I'll have links down below for it. There are ones that start from the left and ones that start from the right. So that's important to get those 2 different ones, because one starts here and one starts here, and the numbers will go left or right. So that'll be my last piece that I'm going to have to do here. So I'm happy with how it turned out. I got everything measured out. I got everything polyurethane sanded down, 2 coats of poly on here. So it's looking really good. A few mistakes I made, so let me bring you in here and show you the mistakes I had. First of all, in routering, I had this problem right here, where my router kind of got a little squirrely on me and I burned out. The other mistake I made was my T-track was not quite long enough, so I'm missing about 2 inches here on the end. I have an extra piece of T-track that I will probably splice in there, but for now I think I'm okay. And then one other mistake over here, let me bring you to the other side. Here. So over here, I was doing some sanding because this was a little too proud on this side. So I had to sand it flush, and my sander was just a little too aggressive over here on this particular piece. It is smoothed out and it looks good, so but that was a mistake I made. And then the other mistake, which I've already talked about, but I'll show you how it came out, was the placement of the actual miter saw itself, where it's a little forward. If I'd gone back a little bit, it might be better being a little more centered on the board. But I did that so that my miter gauge can go all the way around both sides. That's because I didn't make this wide enough, but I think I like it better this way because I don't want too big a gap here between the actual saw and the table. The saw is just a little proud of the ends, which is what I want. I didn't want it to be too much level or going to hit, so they're a little bit proud, just a tiny bit. So that's real good. So other than that, this was a very fun build. It took me a little while to get everything together. Got it all done, so it all looks good. So yeah, so if you got anything out of this video, enjoyed it in any way, fashion, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe down below, and I'll be having more videos to come. So with that, see you in the next video.